Alright, welcome back. It is time to blow up some ships, or, well, perhaps it's time to get blown up. Who knows what will happen. So, for the past couple days I have been doing a lot of PvE, mostly to try and create another way of obtaining ISK. Now, I have combined exploration with industry, and so far that's been doing really well, but as you guys all know, I also like to do combat. When I say combat, I'm mostly talking about PvP. So today I have prepared some, I would say, interesting battles. There are some fails, there are some wins, and stuff like that. There will be some solo PvP as well as fleet operations. Well, I say fleet operations, not exactly a big fleet. The usual 1 or 2 members that I fly with most of my time, and I think it will be quite fun to see how that goes. Now, based on my recent experience with some of my ships, I might decide to sell a bunch of the ships that I have in this station. However, at the same time, I'm not really sure if it's the time to do that. Now, I thought about completely replacing the Cinnabel with the Celos. However, the Celos has a very interesting place in the game, and I also do like the fact that the Cinnabel is extremely cheap. Now, the insurance price of the Cinnabel, I'll show you the price of the good old Cinnabel. I had this ship for so long. It's honestly one of my favorites. Now, the Cinnabel is very cheap. I really have some very silly modules installed. 1.1 billion on this Cinnabel, and it still does have some pretty nice DPS. Now, C-type gyro stabilizer, a basic gyro stabilizer, one extender, damage control, and a medium micro warp drive, a scrambler, dual scramblers, a web, and some drones and C-type autocannons, and the rigs are also quite cheap. Now, I have the barrage implant on level 33, I believe, and this thing has a lot of shield. Now, it has 18,000 in shield now. I did have a level 10 general unit on this thing that added an extra 5,000 shield basically, and I also have a build where I can slap dual extenders on the symbol, and with that build it has about 30,000 shield, so this thing can be extremely tanky. It has a lot of hit points. Now, the Celos is good. The Celos has an amazing DPS output, but the problem with the Celos is the fact that it is ridiculously expensive. Now, I'm focusing on these 2 ships on the start of the video because I kind of want to use one, but at the same time I kind of like both. So it's really a very difficult decision for me to make because I can fly 2 at the same time. I have only like I can pilot 1 ship with one account. So yeah, this thing is 9.2 billion. That's insane. The insurance cost on these things is going to remain on that value for a while. So yeah, definitely the Celos is definitely a bit more expensive, but it can cloak, and my build on the Celos is also a little bit different. You can use the Celos the same way as with the same build as the Cinnabel. It also has a lot of shield, and actually let me show you how much shield I can have on the Celos if I were to use the same build as with the Cinnabel. Now, my Cinnabel was a bit far away. I used it for some roaming a while ago, and basic was docked like 20 jumps away. So yeah, that's kind of funny that happened with it. But it's back now, back in action. So I'll be flying the Cinnabel today as well. But again, I love the Celos. It's a very fun to fly ship, very unique ship, truly a special cruiser as they're called. So let me adjust the modules the way I like them to be. So the protector large extender, I have the protector extender dropped from PvP, I believe. Got it from a kill some time ago. Was pretty hilarious actually. And a gyro stabilizer, there we go. Now the Celos does have, I think, a bit more hit points. Well, it's about the same. Oh, okay. About the same amount of hit points, but it can have theoretically a bit more DPS since it does have the battle mode, and the battle mode does enhance the DPS quite a bit. It also kind of works really well with the barrage implant since it does work like an extended barrage implant that doesn't go out. But yeah, and the Celos is honestly very fun to fly ship. And besides the Celos, today you will see a lot of other ships that I have: Cinnabal, Stratus, RB, Macaria. I mean, the usual boats that I like to fly. So, with that being said, I guess it will be time to jump in the combat and let's see what kills we get today. Alright, let's go to the first target. Now, there is one, I think one Astero lurking within one exploration set. Now, hopefully I'm not too late. I actually noticed the Astero couple minutes after they appeared in local, so there's a good chance that they are already finishing. But in any case, let's just see what happens. I might be lucky. Didn't even have time to change builds to my explorer build, to my explorer hunter build that I have on the Stratus. Usually I use a micro warp drive, but I guess today I have an afterburner. Yeah, that's not a very this is not a very good site where you can sneak up to the target. A lot of stuff around that can easily decloak you, and I think the Astero might be doing the last box. Yeah, this might be the last box. Am I going to be able to approach on time? My guess is most likely not. Wish I had a micro warp drift. I would definitely just yeet myself at the Astero, but I have an afterburn. 17 kilometers, 16 kilometers, 15 kilometers. They cloaked, and yeah, they have done the site. Oh well. If I had a micro warp drift, would probably be able to get to the Astero on time. In any case, let's go to the next one. Now the next target is a Gila. Now this is a Cinnabal. This is not the Celos, although they almost look the same, but this is the Cinnabal. Usually on the Celos I have a clocking device, and there's quite a bit of traffic, which is interesting. Approach set to 5 kilometers. There is the Gila. 50 kilometers away from me. Okay, that's interesting. Let's approach. The Cinnabal is quite fast, so approaching a target is not a big problem. They're using faction drones, means probably expensive. Okay, scrambled, webbed, shutting off the micro warp drift. Now the Celos can actually track while moving this fast because of the battle mode. The Cinnabal can't really, so that's one difference between the ships. But this Gila seems to be taking quite a bit of shield damage, easily going through the shield of the Gila. Have turned on the damage control, also the extender has been activated as well. The drones of the Gila are now shooting me, but seems like they're not doing that much damage, which is a little bit weird.
We're under attack. We're under attack.
Okay, nice. A Gila destroyed. Let's warp out. That was a pretty good kill. I always love to throw a Cinnabal on a Gila.
Warp drive active.
And I didn't take a lot of shield damage. This build is a classic Cinnabal build. I used this exact build like 3 years ago on my first ever Cinnabal. Kind of funny that it still has the same function as back then. 1.4 billion. The Gila used torpedo launchers. Not a very good build. Dual medium boosters. However, the drones were very nice, and always love when the faction drones do drop. Alright, now the next target is a Raven. And for this Raven I have prepared a a big Cinnabal, the Macarial. Although, technically, you know, it's not a big mistake to call a Macarial a cruiser, since it kinda is a big cruiser in terms of mobility and speed.
Warp drive active.
Now the Raven was at 0 when I was scouting, so hopefully they are still at 0. Although there's always a chance that they have moved, so I guess only one way to find out, and yeah, looks like they have moved 40 kilometers away from me. Okay, let me attempt to approach. Hopefully they don't see me until I have them pointed down. "24 kilometers, 23. Let's lock. Ooh, that was close. That was very close. If I started to lock just a little bit earlier, I would have caught the Raven. Didn't have a good warping, I guess. Well, I had a good warping, but they moved. They were not at the same place when I scanned. Now they have changed the log off mechanics. Now you can't log off if you have any timer. So yeah, guess this is not working. I guess I have to dock. Now I'll attempt to catch this Raven. I will go and change my ships. We'll take the Ortus, and then I'll come back to attempt to catch the Raven for a second, and they might return. And they did. Perfect. They warped at 0, right in the optimal range on the Ortus. And now, orbit engaged. The Raven has been pointed, and I have a guidance disruptor that helps a lot with the range of the missiles on the Raven. I have about 42 or 43 kilometer range with my disruptors, so should be good. Orbiting at 40, maintaining the orbit quite easily. By the amount of damage that I'm doing to the Raven, I would say that they are a tank build. However, this Ortus is not even close to my old Ortus that I sold a while ago. That had like, I think it had like 1,500 DPS with 8 types or something like that. It was a very expensive ship, but it did so much damage. It was insane. That thing was absolutely insane. However, figured that I don't really have to use expensive items on my ships. So nowadays most of my ships are actually fairly cheap and very affordable. However, that Ortus used to do like 3,500 damage per missile group, and up to 10,000 damage when all the missiles hit at the same time. So that Ortus was a little bit crazy, and I love that ship. But you know, as all things, the Ortus also did have, I mean, I kind of stopped flying it actively once I accomplished my goal of having like 1,000 kills with it. I'm the first Ortus pilot that achieved that, by the way. I used to fly this thing all the time, and was honestly very fun. A truly fantastic boat. Now the Raven is in about 50% shield. and slowly going down. I'm definitely breaking the tank. I would say they might have one large booster and multiple adaptives. They have two Nosferatus that they have on my ship, but Nosferatus at this distance are not going to do much. So I'm a good capacitor. Well, actually, the capacitor on the Arcturus is not the best. The capacitor on this thing has been really bad. And somehow they did manage to warp out. Somehow I lost points at my optimal range. Never happened before, but yeah, I guess it happened. Now, look at the name of the Raven pallets. Did you see that blue little icon? When they warped out, they became blue. Can you imagine that? The amount of bad luck that is involved right now. Imagine fighting someone, and then all of a sudden they become blue. Yeah, that's exactly what happened to me. They became blue, and I'm just sitting here orbiting to see if they come back. I'm definitely not going to I'm not going to shoot at someone who's blue, but just to make sure, you know, that my eyes are not tricking me. Did the Raven just become blue? I think they did, but I'll just orbit. So yeah, there was a lot of bad luck actually, and oh, there they are, and they are blue. Lovely. Well, I guess I'm not able to. I'm able to shoot at the Raven, but that would not be recommended, because you definitely do not want to get the corp in trouble. Yeah, they are blue. They're definitely blue. Well, not only the ship is blue, but the icon is also blue, so yeah. If only I knew that they would come back, I would probably wait with the Macarial at 0, and then they would already be dead, so yeah, they would be blue after they have been killed. And then that would be okay. In any case, let's go to the next target. We have a Drake. Now, I usually take a cruiser for a Drake, but just didn't feel like flying a cruiser right now, so I took my Macarial for a spin. My friends in the Slasher will do the tackle, I'll be the DPS. I mean, I could have taken the Ortus, but the Drake can be quite tanky, so just wanted to burn down the Drake as quickly as possible, if possible, of course. Did not want to risk my friend's Slasher to get destroyed by accident, if I don't have enough DPS with the Ortus to kill the Drake. Alright, there's the Drake. Let's approach, micro wardrift on, and let's blow it up. Now it seems like the Drake is tanky, but they're definitely not going to tank. Hey, Macari, that's just entered barrage, and that's a lot of DPS. Drake in hole, Drake in low hole. Forgot to adjust my approach, but in any case, the Drake has been destroyed. Nice. Now let's warp out. I kinda miss flying my Black Ops Macarial. Well, this is the Black Ops Macarial, just without a clocking device. That ship was so fun to fly. It was so ridiculous how well it worked. I kinda hope that they make a Macarial that is kind of like the Celos, basically a special edition battleship. 664 million ISK, not bad. This is actually quite a pricey Drake. And of course the loot fairy did not like us, and the most expensive stuff did not drop. Alright, now let's go to the next target. We have a Gila. Let's warp at 7-8 kilometers. Now, I kinda wish that the Macarial did have that, I guess, special edition ship version of it, where you can fit a Cortex clocking device. That would be so ridiculous. I would be flying that ship all day long. Who knows? Maybe they add a special edition battleship that can cloak. That would be fun. Now, this Gila was aligned at first, and this is why I am in my Stratus. Now, The Stratus is good, the drone bombs are good, but there are some situations where the drone bombs are not, going to be that effective. Now, when I use the Stratus, I usually use the ship with the drone bombs versus snipers, or versus battlecruisers that are aligned, or battleships that are aligned. For cruisers, I like to use a different cruiser, a cruiser that has a bit more tank to it, and a passive tank cruiser, like the Cinnabal. For a Gila, I usually use my Cinnabal or my Salus, mostly because it has a lot of shield, does a lot of damage, and it just cracks open the shield of most of the cruisers around. And as I already mentioned, it is quite tanky. That Cinnabal can withstand quite a bit of damage, so that build is really good to be used against other cruisers. Now the thing about the Stratus, it can be tanky, but if you are not using a good tank rig setup, then it is not going to work that well against a heavily tanked ship. So this is why I have multiple ships for multiple different situations. The Cinnabal or the Salus is my ship of choice in most of the situations when I have to fight a Gila, but since this is kind of a different moment, then just did not want to risk losing the Gila, so I took the Stratus. Now the problem is that I don't have a very good warping. That's just not a very good position in space, so I'm trying to figure out a way to intercept the cruiser. I actually think that I would be able to catch the Gila if I just go swap to the Cinnabal or Salus and then just rush the Gila, one of the ways how to do it quite easily. But my friend is in the Stratus as well. At the time I didn't really think that... didn't really had that idea in my mind, which is honestly kind of a mistake, because could have easily waited for my friend to tackle and then just drop the Cinnabal on, or Salus basically, on the target. And well, also one drawback of the Stratus, it is slow. Now I usually use the afterburn on it, but this is also one of the rare situations where a micro warp drive would definitely be the way to go for a faster approach, for a faster tackle, since my friend is also nearby with drones. So I made multiple mistakes, and wasn't really my day when I was using the Stratus. So missed the Gila. Now I guess the only thing left to do is warp out and basically try to catch it a second. Now this is basically the time where I should have just went and I should have just docked and took out the Cinnabal, because obviously didn't go that well with the Stratus today. Just made mistake after mistake, and when things go wrong, things like to go wrong until the end. That's just my life experience. So I have tackled the Gila so far. It's going according to plan, doing some damage on it. And if I had my Salus, this definitely would be much faster in terms of how much damage I can do to it, since, believe it or not, my Cinnabal or Salus seem to have higher DPS. Well, at least when I say higher DPS, higher in terms of higher stable DPS, since the drone bombs are more of a burst, burst type weapon, and once the effect drops, then the DPS does heavily drop. Meanwhile, the Cinnabal or Salus still have like 1.2 thousand DPS, and that still does go in quite well. Now my armor repairer decided to not work, apparently. Did not repair the damage in that cycle, and that kind of messed up my plans. So yeah, that was a fail.
Warp drive active.
I mean, I could have just probably keep on repairing and would be able to maintain the armor at like 10% perhaps, but no, that's just the armor repair didn't repair that one cycle, and yeah, that one cycle messed up everything that I planned. But it's fine. That was a fail. That was a big fail. And of course, by the time I return, the Gila is already out.
Warp drive
Rip.
active.
Oh well, it happens. Killed one Gila, missed one Gila. That's just how it goes. Should have taken my Snibble since I already had a very good roll with the Snibble. Should have just continued flying the ship that was doing well. That's one thing that I never listened to myself. Every time if one of my ships is doing well, I should just keep on using the ship. And I also figured out that I did not have my offense drones installed, which is lovely. So I missed on a lot of DPS. So yeah, a lot of bad luck. Not really sure how did I even swap out my offense drones. I had the same drone layout, just did not use the offense drones within Stratus. They were in the hangar for some reason. Oh well. In any case, let's go to the next target. I think we have an oracle, a sniper oracle. Now I have the correct, yeah, offense Valkyrie. Oh, okay. Not really sure why didn't I have these drones equipped, or did I? I have no idea actually. No idea at this moment. In any case, let's go and see what happens. Now, as I already mentioned, the Stratus is really good when it comes to engaging snipers. Very good for those types of targets. That's basically the Stratus speciality. It is really good when it comes to blowing up ships that are built to be snipers and ships that are aligned. For any other situation, I would actually use a different ship just because of the higher sustained DPS and because of the better tank. Now, if my Stratus was with the old build that has a lot of tank, then that Gila would definitely not be able to go through the tank that easily, since my old Stratus that I used to run was tank built with integrations, and that thing was quite the tanky one. However, this one has basically no tank, and of course that is quite visible, but for most of the targets that the ship is designed to deal with, the need for a tank isn't really there. Okay, well, that was a very nice warping, but I think I can nail a better
Warp
one.
drive active.
Going to I landed at 80 kilometers. The Oracle is at 100 kilometers, so I think I should be able to land it at right at 0 from the Oracle when I warp back. So potentially going to have a very easy tackle here, and of course, hopefully the Drake does have some very juicy. The Oracle, not Drake. Hopefully the Oracle has some very juicy stuff inside of them. Okay, let's warp. Let's go back. If the game doesn't want to lag that much, I'd appreciate less lag. The lag is insane. What's up with this tablet? Don't know how many times I nearly yeeted this tablet out of the window because of the frame drops and because of the lag. The lag makes me so mad. Right now you could see how long it took to load the map there. And I play the game on the tablet because the screen is just huge. The phone screen is just much smaller, and I feel more comfortable with a big screen. Okay, hopefully no lag when I tackle this thing. And that's fantastic warping, 4 kilometers away from the Oracle. Let's just tackle immediately. Scram. Oh, and there we go. Lag kicked in when I need best performance, then it lags the most. 3 frames per second. Lovely. Oracle is in low shield. I'm orbiting at 0. Oracle now into armor. Now into hull.
We're under attack.
And Oracle has been destroyed. Let's loot the wreck and let's warp out. Okay, some C-types, some C-type beam lasers. They are quite expensive, so I'll take them. I'll take it. And now let's warp out.
Warp drive active.
And cloak, of course. Cloak is very important. You don't want to cloak is always good to be hidden in space. Let me approach a random point in space and let's take a look at the kill. 347 million. He dropped some C-type beam lasers, very nice. Definitely not going to complain about free C-types. They are quite expensive and quite valuable on the market. Always nice to have them. This Oracle also had a Scrambler, so that was nice. And let's go to the next target. Now for this one I'll be taking out my RB. I love this thing. I love the RB. Truly a iconic ship. I have a lot of iconic ships, but I think the first iconic would be the RB. If you remember the good old days without million tabs, where you can just take any build you like basically and be able to hold most targets, where they couldn't just warp out when they feel like it. Well, I mean, you can get battles like that nowadays as well, although much more rare. So we have a Caracal Navy. They are at 0. I'll quickly warp out to decloak and then I'll warp back in. I have dual guidance disruptors and dual points. This is the classic. I mean, the classic. The RB doesn't have a bonus on guidance disruptors. It has a bonus on tracking disruptors, but in any case, both seem to be doing really well. Okay, warping back.
Under attack.
Warp drive active.
Alright, that was a good warp in. 11 kilometers, a bit too close for my taste. Since this is a kite ship, it should never be close to anything, but you know, it just happens. So let's just burn. Now I also have to be careful to be away from the elite ships, since they have a lot of nasty scrammers and webs. Don't want to be close to that. Okay, orbiting again. Almost lost points on the Caracal Navy. Okay, now let me prepare to burn out. I have to kill the elite frigate if I want to loot the wreck, so let me burn out a little bit. Where is the elite frigate? There it is. Okay, that frigate needs to die before I can loot the wreck.
We're under attack.
Focus fire. Because I just don't want to risk it. It would be quite risky to just yeet in and get weapons scrambled. Okay, frigate seems to be dying. I'll be approaching the wreck. Drones back in the drone bay. Let's see what's inside of the Caracal Navy. I remember when a Caracal Navy dropped a Predator web. That was a long time ago. It was hilarious. I used a stabber fleet that cost like 30 million and the Caracal Navy dropped a Predator web. That was hilarious. One of the funniest moments that I've had in the game. Alright, let's warp out and let's see what value is attached to the Caracal Navy. Could be expensive, could be cheap. Now this one is quite expensive. 277 million for a Caracal Navy. Yeah, this is quite pricey. What is so expensive on this ship, though? That's the question. I have no idea. No idea why this ship is so expensive. I did not see anything that caught my attention. In any case, I have looted it, so yeah. Let's go to the next target. Now this is the encounter that I was talking about in one of the last videos. Now there's a Drake and there's a Hound in the in the mission. Now at first I was looking around. I was basically lurking around the Drake, and there was this one pilot local that's been there for quite a while, but their ship didn't show up on scan, and they obviously haven't been docked. So I knew that there was something happening here, and obviously now I understand what's happening. They are hunting. Now usually a Hound is being used for tackle only, so that's definitely not a lone Hound. There's definitely one more ship, at least one more ship nearby. So my goal here at the moment, at the time, was to kill the Hound and then kill the Drake. So I warp to the planet, and then I will be warping back to the mission at 100 kilometers. Now the thing that I kind of messed up here, the thing that made me have second thoughts on whether I should just tackle or not, is the fact that I forgot to load in the bombs. If I had the bombs, it wouldn't be a big problem, since I can just burn down the Hound, which is kind of the larger threat at the moment. Although when I warped back closer, I realized one thing. I realized that these two ships are not shooting at each other. Now I tried to see how much hit points there is left on the Drake and on the Hound. You can see both ships have a full shield, and there is no missile effects coming out of any of these ships. No missiles. The only thing that's kind of obvious is the fact that the Drake seems to be pointed, although they're still moving a lot. They're still moving quite fast for a ship that's scrambled. And I know with an afterburner the Drake doesn't go that fast. It's a slow ship. So I'm almost 100% sure that the Hound is using the long-range disruptor. However, they are not shooting at each other. The Hound is being shot by the ships within the mission, but the Drake is not shooting at it, and the Hound is not shooting at the Drake. So this is a big, kind of sus what's happening here. This is where all of my red flags started popping, since this looks like a bait where they're trying to make you, they try to make you feel like they're fighting, but in fact they're both baiting your ship. However, later in this little encounter here, turns out that it wasn't a bait. The Drake just did not do anything. I did have a little chat with the Hound pilot. Was a very chill pilot. And here I realized that there is one more in local from the same corporation. So yeah, as I already guessed, there's definitely more ships nearby, but they're not warping. And you will find the reason why they're not warping quite hilarious. Now, right now, I'm thinking that the Drake is a bait, that the Hound and the Drake are both bait ships for one of my ships, and that more ships are on the way. But the Hound pilot thinks that the Drake is my ship, my bait, and that I'm baiting them. So both of us have the same idea in mind, and both of us are literally doing the same thing, being cautious. And I had a very nice chat with him. Again, very, very chill pilot. And it was kind of funny what happened. Very funny what happened in the end, since it turns out that the Drake is just a random pilot that got jumped, and both of us thought that the Drake is our bait. Even moments like that just make me smile, because they are usually hilarious. And yeah, now their DPS ship is in the system, but they're not going to warp. I'm also nearby, but I'm already out of range. There's no way that I can burn to the Drake while being cloaked with a Stratus, since for some reason the Drake seems to have a mech warp active while being scrambled. And I'm not really sure how that's possible. I don't know. I have no idea what build that Drake has, but I know what build the Hound has. Well, most likely what the Hound has. So if I did load in the bombs, I would definitely go after the Hound when I warped, but I did not load the bombs, I forgot, so decided to see what happens. And I'm very curious to see at the moment while recording this, I thought to see what warps in, because if there is something that I can manage, I'll definitely throw in a Cinnaball, or throw in, depending on what target it is. I have a ship for a good response, but so far they are not warping in because they think that the Drake is my ship. So yeah, that's kind of funny. Now, also one thing that I did not know at the time, that will happen very soon. The Drake is still there. The Drake is still there. However, as you'll see in now, as you saw there, the Drake could have easily warped off at any time, and at the time that kind of confirmed my theory, the debate theory, since the Drake had enough stabs to warp away, but it didn't. It just kept on burning away from the mission. So yeah, at the time I was 100% sure that that it was a bait. However, as already mentioned, I had a very nice chat with the Hound pilot, and they confirmed that they were not their ship. So that was quite a funny encounter, honestly a hilarious moment. And yeah, this is one of the reasons what makes Eve quite funny and quite fun to play, actually, because moments like this tend to happen, and when they do happen, they're quite funny. Alright, so since the Drake warped off, I'll be warping out as well, since they are not in the system anymore. Could have probably done something if I would already have the Hound killed if I had the bombs loaded in, but I forgot. So yeah, the Drake did manage to escape near the end. And well, I think the last target for today, we have one Harby. Now I'm in the Harby with tracking disruptors, and I am on my way to the mission location.
Drive active.
Was a pretty good run today. There were some fails and some bad luck, but overall was quite fun, and definitely enjoyed every single second of it. Okay, there's the Harby. Now this Harby was hunting. They did scan a couple times, and there was a interceptor in one of the missions, but seems like their scanner has scared the interceptor, so we did not get that one, but we will try to get the battlecruiser. Waiting for my friend to appear on grid so that I can decloak and start approaching. Let's approach. The Harby is already in armor, so this is going to be a very quick kill. Usually it is a quick kill. Loading. I have the bombs loaded in. Drones are out. Tracking interceptors are active. And the drone bombs, well, not my drone bombs, but the drone bombs have killed the Harpy in a couple moments. That was a very nice catch. Alright, well, that was a lovely little run today. Had some very nice fights and overall some very good kills. Hope you guys have enjoyed. I do plan to do a lot more PvP in the upcoming days, especially with the Alliance. I think it should be quite fun to see that, because I haven't done Alliance related stuff in quite a while, so I'm honestly excited to see how that goes. But with that being said, it was a 196 million ISK Harpy. It was a pretty good value. I mean, we had even more expensive Harpies in the past, but that was a very good catch. So if you want to support me, feel free to like and subscribe. It does help out a lot. And with that being said, stay safe, fly safe, and as always, I'll see you next time.